Hello and welcome to Moose's Kitchen. It's summertime where I am, and I know during the summer a lot of people consume fruits and fruit juices, and most people make their own juices. I'm one of those who make my own fruit juice. I love to make my own fruit juice. Today we're going to use 3 oranges in this recipe, and I've already washed the oranges. Next step will be for us to peel these oranges and pluck them. As you can see here now, the oranges are peeled. The skin or the rind has been removed. So the next step will be to remove. You just want to cut the top, not touching the orange itself, and get that part out. Now this is the plucking process. You can either go in with your finger. You start from the middle in there, and you begin to remove the white skin. That skin is bitter. You don't ever want to leave that in your juice because you're not going to like the taste. Your juice is going to be very, very bitter. So remove all of that. Make sure you remove everything. You will see some of that still hanging out there. You want to gently take the knife and just kind of remove it. So as soon as the last one is peeled and all of that white skin removed, you want to put them in this bowl and get rid of that because we're not going to use that anymore. We're going to pluck. When I say the peel and pluck method, this is what I was talking about. You pull the oranges apart, all of those pieces, as you can see. Never mind that they're breaking up, of course, like I mentioned before. Everything is different, including fruits. Now, if you go in there, you see this white piece. You want to make sure you take that out because that is also part of the white skin and it's bitter. So anywhere you find that, you want to make sure you take that out. I like to separate them just to make sure I take these out. If you don't separate the pieces of fruit, you might end up leaving some of that white stuff in there, and then your fruit juice will taste bitter. And after you've done that, what I like to do is to just cut them up into little pieces so that it makes it easier to process or to blend. When you're done doing all of that, then the next step will be to grab your blender or your fruit processor. I prefer the blender because the blender is almost like a juicer. It really grinds up everything nicely, and that's what you want to do. Process this orange or these oranges. Now we've cut up all of the orange pieces. As you can see, it's all cut up. The next step will be to put all of these pieces into a blender. The next thing would be to add water. Now, this step, or before I go to that step, let me just tell you, I use seedless oranges. And if you're using oranges that have seed in them, don't keep the seeds in there. I forgot to mention that. Make sure you remove the seeds when you're plucking. So I just wanted to throw that out there so you're aware. The next step will be to add water to this. I'm going to set it up here. The blender is already, the bowl is already sitting in the blender. Initially, I'm going to add 2 cups of water. And as we go along, I'm going to eyeball a lot of things. So I'm going to add initially 2 cups of water to this. And I'm going to just keep my water close by as we continue the process of making this orange juice. All the oranges are different, especially sometimes when you don't find the right type of oranges, you don't get a lot of what you want out of it. I wanted to put that out there. So I'm going to cover this up, and then we will start the process. We're going to start to process this now, and let's see how far it goes. And I'm going to keep it on low, and sorry for the noise. sorry about the noise, but again, we're making a juice. This is what it looks like when you get it out. What you see in there will be pulp. And even when you buy your juice from the store, it tells you you have the option of high pulp, low pulp, or no pulp. It's up to you. Pulp is the pieces of oranges, the fruits that remain in the juice. And as you can see, it's already coming together. So here's what I'm gonna do. And as I said before, we eyeball it, right? So I'm going to put this back in here and put in a little bit more water. So I have my measuring glass here. I suggest that you keep your measuring glass handy, because if you don't, then you won't remember how much water you put per, 3 pieces of oranges. Do maybe 3/4 or maybe 1 more cup, an additional cup. So it's almost going to be like we're going to do 1 cup of water per orange, like the 3rd cup that I'm putting in here. And we'll just go back and keep that process going just for a few seconds. We'll do that. I'm gonna stop this. I like what I see. I like what I see. The next step is going to be very important, as I mentioned. If you're a no pulp person, if you don't want pulp or pieces of oranges in your juice, you can actually strain this. You can use your sifter to strain your juice. If you're a pulp person and prefer to keep the pulp in your juice, hey, go ahead and don't do anything. Just stop right there. That's the end of the juicing. And you just go ahead and pour that into your container to store. But I'm just going to show you a little bit of what it looks like if you want to just have a no pulp. I'm going to take this out of the way and bring this forward. And I will show you, if you want no pulp, actually no pulp, you just go ahead and pour this into the sifter or the sieve and just let the juice pour by itself. You see, it's going to pour. It's going to pour. Yep, I love orange juice. I tell you, I love me orange juice. See there? That's the process of taking out the pulp if you don't want pulp. And there are those who like pulp, but I had to show you this step so that you can decide when you make yours how you're going to treat that. From all of that grinding, I'm not going to trash this because, like I said, I'm not going to spend all this money and trash the pulp. I'm going to have 2 types of juices, 2 types of orange juice, the pulp and the no pulp. So you see there, you have that pulp remaining. It has come down to that. And everything you have in there now is your juice. I'm going to put this aside while we work on the main juice. So you see there is our juice. The next step would be for us to pour this. I have a jar already prepared. I love mason jars. I keep a lot of mason jars at home because I like to preserve my food, fruits, vegetables, you name it. I'm always preserving something. So I keep mason jars, or if you have jam in your house, jelly, and when that fruit or spread is done, rather than trashing the jar, you can actually clean it up. And if you like to preserve foods as well, you can use those jars to preserve your foods. So our next step would be to pour this. I don't have a funnel here with me right now, so we're going to make sure we do this right. And because I said I'm going to make 2 types of juices, so the first one we'll do will be pulp free. And I'm going to do about half of what I have in here or until I get to around half of this bottle. I could have filled it up, but I wanted to show you another option with the pulp. So we're done with this. This is like done. This is your orange juice. And let me just tell you something. If you had used the other method, using the squeezer that I showed you earlier, you wouldn't have gotten even a little bit of, just a little bit, you have gotten less than a 4th cup of juice. Look at the quality of this juice. Look at the quality of this juice. Doesn't it match or rival any other juice there in the store? I love this, you know, and you can keep this refrigerated and let it go for a long time. In fact, I'm going to add a little bit more because the pulp is going to fill up the other one. So I'm going to add this and I will show you another trick. I'm going to leave some juice in here. When we add the pulp, we're going to add a little more water because the pulp still has the juice in there. I'm going to put this away and I'm actually going to bring back the blender, put the pulp back in there with some water, and then we'll have the pulped orange juice. We're going to now do the next method, would be the pulp method. I'm not going to add back this juice. I'm going to put this juice aside and I'm just going to add some water. This is about a cup of water in here. I'm going to add that to that one. And we're going to just spin this for a little bit so that all of that gets incorporated. And we'll take that out, put this aside, and just pour this in here. And you just stir it up a little bit, incorporate it a little bit more. And you can imagine we haven't added any sweeteners, any artificial preservatives. This is all just orange and water. And then we're going to then do another one. Just pour this in here. This is the pulp orange juice. There you go. I told you the pulp. See there? There you go. And we have now 2 orange juices here. No pulp and pulp. How awesome is that? How very, very awesome is that? Very, very awesome is that? You get more than, this is 3 oranges that we use, guys. 3 oranges. Can you beat that? So now you can refrigerate these. You can freeze them for up to, I keep mine for up to like 2 weeks. It depends, but I can tell you all of this is going to be gone. If you can buy more oranges, imagine how many of this you will have at home, especially if you have kids. You will have a lot of this at home. So thank you for watching this video. I hope you learned how to make your own pulp and non-pulp orange juice and how you can make a lot of juice out of just few fruits. Make sure you like this page and follow this page so that whenever I have new content, you will definitely get notified. Thank you for watching, and I will be seeing you soon in another video.